Inside the deep state. Who are those people? Where can they be identified? Where do they work? Who are those people? Hi everybody, this is Jack Easum at TrumpRepublican.news, and today we have some really great breakthrough information. Well, it's not anything you haven't heard by other news reports. You know, if you go out and you listen to the alt-right, as they call it, I've heard things in news reports on Alex Jones, Michael Savage, you know, the Savage Nation, Dave Hodges, the Common Sense Show, Paul Martin of RevolutionRadio.org, and many other places, both on the internet and at YouTube. But you know, one of the big mysteries to me about the deep state is, who are those guys? Where are they? You know, it reminds me a little bit of that Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, the movie from, you know, I guess the late 60s, where they're getting tracked and followed by some guys, and they're sheriffs and trackers and whoever, and the Butch and Sundance look at each other and say, who are those guys? Well, that's how I feel about the deep state. Who are those guys? Oh, I know, we know a few of the big names. But who are they? Where do they hang out? And where do they work? Do they work in the government? Well, I think we're going to put some of the pieces to the puzzle together today. And just thank you to General William G. Boykin. I had the privilege and honor to be part of a conference call that happened last week. And I'd like to tell you it was me, General Boykin, and a few other people, but there was more like about 1,000 plus people that were on the line listening. General Boykin had just finished a presentation, a speech, if you will, to a very large crowd, and then he came on for this conference call. And I have to tell you, I haven't seen any reports on this in the news anywhere in terms of what he said, but he's a brilliant man. And I want to give you his background so you understand. You know, there are so many players involved in this whole Trump administration and people who are supporting President Trump, and General Boykin is a big Trump supporter. Well, let me tell you just a little bit about him. William Boykin, he was born in 1948, and he was the United States Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence. So he understands the intelligence community. And he did that from 2002 to 2007, and then he became a retired general officer. During his 36-year career in the military, he spent 13 years in the Delta Force. That's right, the Delta Force. I always think of Chuck Norris when I hear the Delta Force. But General Boykin, he's the real thing. And some of the missions that they were involved in are just incredible. They were involved in the Iran hostage rescue attempt, the hunt for Pablo Escobar, Black Hawk Down, and it goes on and on. He's an author, published, and he's currently an executive vice president at the Family Research Council, which is a Christian-oriented organization that promotes Christian values throughout America. And from all accounts, he is one heck of a great guy. Well, one of the things that astonished me in the telephone call was he put things together. He put things together in terms of who is the deep state? What are the problems? You know, I'm reminded of Michael Savage again in his book, Trump's War, where he outlines brilliantly, yes, he was brilliant about it, in Trump's War, where he went through the various issues and battles that President Trump is up against. And let me make it clear, from what I have seen and heard more recently, it is a war. It's been a silent coup trying to take over the government by some people in the government. And for those of you that haven't read the FISA memo that came out, you can look at the FBI and the secret society crowd that was being developed there. And somehow to me that term secret society, that fits for the deep state. Oh, they're far deeper and far more and broad than that. We're draining a swamp that's the ocean size. Okay, that's what President Trump is up against. But one of the things that General Boykin stated that I really appreciated, he just, what's the word, synthesized it. You know, he just captured everything in a real small phrase. His comment was this: there are 4 places to infiltrate in the United States government if you're trying to take over the United States government. One of them is the Department of State. Makes sense to me. Next, the Department of Defense. The military. Got it? Next, the federal law enforcement agencies. I think that would include the FBI, and there are others. And lastly, the intelligence community. So those are the 4 places to infiltrate. Now, where did these people come from that are in those places? Well, during the Obama administration, thousands of people were placed in positions across all of those organizations. Thousands, folks. This is Trump's war. He's battling resistance from within. And the people that have been placed, they didn't have to go through Senate confirmation or be appointed so less. They got hired through the Obama administration, and they became civil servants. Now, when someone is a civil servant, they have a right given to them to have that job. So you really can't fire them. You're going to have some really great reason to go in and try to terminate them. But it is incredibly difficult. And for those of you that are impatient with the president or Attorney General Jeff Sessions, well, we're just going to have to be a little more patient. Donald Trump is one smart cookie, and he knows what he's doing, and he's brought in a number of people that are very loyal to him. And I know there are some people that haven't been very effective yet. But this is what he's up against, thousands of civil servants. Now, we know that there are probably other agencies or departments that these so-called deep state people are in. We don't even know exactly who all of them are. And that's part of the problem. We have to be able to identify them. So one of the things that really is necessary, and one of the comments that General Boykin made, was that we just need to pray for spiritual discernment to know who these people are and how to identify them, and then the wisdom to get rid of them in a legal fashion. Well, that's my interpretation of it anyway. Yes, and there are thousands and thousands of people, but sometimes what the deep state forgets is there were 62 million people that voted for President Donald Trump. He was elected fair and square, despite all the shenanigans, rigging, voter fraud, and what have you, that the Democratic Party, Hillary Clinton's organization, and others were doing. He is our president, fairly elected. And for me, when General Boykin put together the 4 places to infiltrate, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Now, in my opinion, it probably started happening long before Obama came in, but Obama just really advanced it very, very quickly. And so many people to fight. And they're getting paid by our taxpayer dollars to do those things that they do for the deep state. Well, thank you, General Boykin, for sharing what you did share on that conference call. We appreciate you so much in your efforts and the efforts of the Family Research Council. And we also appreciate President Trump. I just had a comment come in on a previous video we uploaded, and the comment was, "Love this president more with every single tweet. He's for the U.S." That was from Kathy. Thank you, Kathy, for putting that up there. Well, to wind up as we normally do, as President Trump likes to say, keep moving forward. Never, ever give up. God bless.